Welcome back to another episode of the Kickback Corner with JayBee and Will. Today we have a guest, a friend of Will's. His name is Tony, and we brought him along because he has some neat and interesting things that he does daily life. So we just wanted to share that with you. How you doing, Tony?
Good. How you doing, man?
Good.
Thanks for having me on.
Same.
Will, we go way back.
Yeah, so I've known Tony since the seventh grade. Yeah. So we have a history, and then kind of went our separate ways.
Yeah.
And did you end up working with my brother, or how'd that work out? How'd you end up?
Wait, refresh my memory.
Well, he worked at Rent-A-Center for a while.
Rent-A-Center.
I don't know if there was somebody that.
I think my boys did. I think David did.
Oh, it was David.
David did, and George, maybe George too.
David went to.
They went to Fair House with us. Yeah, I know he worked at Rent-A-Center.
Yeah. So and then I mean, as far back as I can remember. Faye Ross was like before it was Ross Academy.
Right. Faye Ross Indians.
It was Faye Ross Indians, and then they had the
what is it
the
now?
strike. Now we voted on that. It's a Ross Eagle. No, Falcons.
Falcons.
Faye Ross Falcons.
Not even the Faye no more, right? It's
no,
just
there's no more Faye.
Ross Academy.
Ross Academy. So they changed it because of the strikes, the Native American.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So all I remember about Faye Ross was it was heavy into like recess basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And like everybody had a basketball jersey.
Really?
So yeah, it was like imagine like it was
like as a uniform?
No,
champions,
just
like
everybody
like,
had their own
remember the old school with the
C? So everybody had their own player of choice.
Okay.
And we'd actually go meet at recess to play basketball, and everybody was wearing a basketball jersey. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
I still have. I just found mine.
Dang.
I got a 45 Jordan.
Oh,
that's cool.
Yeah. So, I remember some kids had
the original from back then.
Yeah, man, the champion, the same one.
Wow,
it fits, bro. And there was a kid that had, but see, back then I was wearing baggies, so that was
like a 48.
Yeah, something.
46 or.
I can't even look at the number, but
I wouldn't be able to fit mine from back then.
I'm the only one that didn't sprout, man.
Struggling to put them on.
So, I mean, I just remember, Spurs Rodman jerseys.
Yeah.
And, everybody
Royal
had
Blue, Orlando, Magic, Penny, Shaq.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So there was a lot of big names back then.
USA basketball jerseys was big back then because of the Dream Team.
Yeah.
Right. So after that, it was just like went straight to Gar.
Yeah.
And Gar, it was a different experience. Like high school was a different experience for me. I felt. It was. I didn't want to be in school.
Man.
I didn't like junior high much. High school was somewhat tolerable because of sports and stuff. I did wrestling, football, and stuff. It was tolerable, but school, yeah.
So then after that horrible 4 years, we graduated, and then where'd you head off to?
Man, when I graduated from high school, it was just going back to thinking about high school. It was fun, but if I could go back, I would have took like the sports aspect more serious. The only thing is just I was fat, short, and just wasn't very athletic. So like I wanted to play and stuff, but I just wasn't good. And like that was just reality. I wanted to play baseball. I think I tried out and just didn't take it serious. Didn't make the team. If anything, I probably could have played baseball better than I would have played football. I just wasn't physical enough. I wasn't, just keeping it real. I wasn't tough enough to. There was some big boys back in, like, I look now at high school and I feel like, I don't know if it's because I'm older, but I feel like the kids are not as big as they were when we were in school.
I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy.
I feel like they were monsters when we were especially when we got to go.
I mean, we had a lot of big Samoans.
The Sue fam was huge, and then, Big Frank, all these big old tall dudes that were like 6'5", 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah, you don't see that many in.
I'm not trying to play football. I'm good. I'd rather rap. I was into rap. I was into hip hop, and so while they were doing the sports thing, I was either cracking jokes or we were getting our freestyle ciphers going in high school, and But basketball, tried out, just wasn't good. So didn't do any sports in high school. But that's one of my biggest regrets. I wish I would have, because I like admired it, seeing the guys in their jerseys and how the girls reacted to them, and it just never was my thing, man. I did theater though in high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was in theater all 4 years, so I did the plays and musicals and stuff.
How'd you like that?
That was fun, man. It was fun because you got to bond and be with other people that you may not have known in late nights, with rehearsal. So there was girls that you thought were cute. You got to spend time with them, and get to know them a little better. So that was fun times. But yeah. Did
you like the performing portion of it, like being in front of a large crowd? And
I didn't mind it. I didn't mind
whatever
it. Like
lines
I said,
or music or whatever.
I mean, it wasn't easy to learn the lines, but I was into hip hop heavily. Like I still am, but back then, like just being honest with you guys, like I didn't really take school serious as I should have. I would be like in class writing lyrics when I should be taking notes.
I think everybody, man.
I don't think anybody was taking notes.
I was writing bars, man, and writing songs in class, and so memorizing that, and then spitting bars in front of people and lunch. So I wasn't afraid to be in front of people. And
gotcha.
No, that's something I did remember about you, is that you're always trying to make people laugh. Or
I was a class clown.
Yeah, like just kind of like, even I was looking back a while back, man. The only like kind of depiction I have of you was at Fay Ross. I don't want to put you on blast because I know you're a Raiders fan.
Go ahead, man.
But he had a San Francisco 49er Deion Sanders jersey in this picture.
Deion Sanders,
right? No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
I remember that made the yearbook too.
Yeah. So that's why I remember. But like it was kind of like in that picture, it's just like you see the whole clique, but he's kind of like in the center.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So it was kind of like having that kind of spotlight kind of already on you. I remember you kind of tried to do something with the acting, didn't you?
I did for a second. I got some headshots taken, but it didn't go. It didn't. I didn't take it. It just.
Which avenue did you try? Like, were you trying to be an extra first? And
well, that, and then I went to a couple auditions. But
did you hire like an agent or something to
kind
of find you those things?
At first, I did. Yeah, it didn't work out, man. It was. My mom was busy, and couldn't, those things. You have to be on call and on standby. You have to, and it just wasn't my thing, man. At first, I really thought, I would love to be an actor and do the extra stuff and trying to work my way up. But yeah, it's a lot to it, man.
I did. I have a cousin that he did a lot of extra work. You go to the casting.
Yeah.
They take that 1 or 2 pictures of you.
Yeah.
They put you in a thing, and then you kind of call in, and you listen to the phone line. If you're 18 at this,
right.
This build, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Show up, give a call or something like that. You have to leave a message. My number is this, so they look your photo up in the computer. Okay, this guy's good, and we'll hire you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it sucks, man. You don't know if you're gonna work that day. Plus, you're getting minimum wage. So you're just trying to get as many as you can until you get your little union card, and then you're gold. You get all the jobs.
No way.
Oh, you get all the
you
jobs.
get to a point where it's kind of like...
You're priority now.
Yeah.
You're priority. But yeah.
It's like a seniority thing.
Protected.
It is. It's very hard to get, though. Yeah. To me, it seems like you're going to have to somebody to get it. Yeah. But keep going. I'm sorry, man. You were talking about the stage acting and all that stuff.
Yeah. Back I've always been like fascinated with jerseys and different teams. Although there's like some teams that I just couldn't put on. Just the fan in me. I like the colors too. Like for example,
the Celtics.
San Francisco Giants, Boston Red Sox. I love the colors. I love the way. I like the tradition. I respect the history of it, but I just couldn't. That's one of those I couldn't be caught in. Like
that's how I feel about the Eagles, man.
Yeah,
like I love their jerseys and uniforms, but
they're beautiful, but you can't put it on.
Yeah.
Even the Chiefs, man. I've always liked it because they've never changed their unis. It's just classic.
It's the same, yeah. Same.
Classic red, white, yellow. But that's one of those that I wouldn't. My friends wouldn't forgive me for. I get a lot of grief. I had on the Niners jersey for Super Bowl. My sister-in-law.
I saw the Snapchat.
Yeah, my sister-in-law, my nieces. our diehard fans. And I kind of lost a bet type of thing. You know, like if you guys make it all the way, because I have a party every year. At my house for Super Bowl. So I told them we'll niner it out for you guys. We'll have it all ninered out, and I'll even wear it. Which I didn't mind doing because it was Jerry Rice. So I mean, but I wouldn't show up to no bar wearing a Niner jersey. It's only at the house with family, But I do collect jerseys. I got a Vic jersey. I got a Michael Vick. Tom Brady. Even though my Raider fans give me hell for that, my friends they want to burn it and all that stuff. But I respect Brady, man. I like people that are great. I respect the greats. I'm okay with putting aside, a little bit of team beef, because I mean everybody's mad at the Tuck Rule thing, but that's like really our only game that we ever that
was a long time ago.
Played them, and it's not like this is an ongoing rivalry. That's how I see it. Everybody's F that, F the.
It wasn't really his fault either.
But the guy, I mean, come on, he's won 6 rings. I mean, I respect greats, man.
Yeah.
I respect great, even though Bill Russell won.
Well, how are they gonna feel when the Raiders sign him?
That's what I'm saying. I'm on board for that.
That's what's supposed to happen.
I'm ready. Let's run that.
Did you hear I heard in some other podcast or some other show that like a guy that was really close with the Raiders, Al Davis, went to his deathbed. Like in his mind, that Tuck Rule thing, the commissioner called in to make sure that it went a certain way.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I believe that.
A certain way.
Yeah,
it took a long time. Go watch the real
footage. To review it.
It was like 20 minutes.
Yeah. It was like the desk catch.
20 minutes, dude. And you're like, what are you guys looking at? Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I get it. And I
was out there in the snow. Al Davis was out there, man. That old fart with the beanie on, freezing ass cold.
Like he came out just for that.
He was. I think he came in around the end-ish. Yeah. He's not gonna sit there all day, man.
No, I'm saying because of that reason he came down, or he
I don't
just
think so.
To come down
I think he was just down there. I think at that point they were possibly gonna win, and he was down there. To be in that.
That's one of those things. I'm sure you guys love sports too. There's always memories and moments that you just never will ever forget. That's one of those, because I just remember how crazy the snow was that game, and just how close we were to advancing, and that call really did, kind of strip us from that opportunity, which it wasn't Brady's fault. It was something going on with the referees.
It changed a lot of things in football.
The Tuck Rule.
It's a rule, man. You know what I mean? There's a lot of plays nowadays that would have been a fumble back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or that but no, it's an interception. It's an incomplete pass now.
Right. And I've always thought that as a Raider fan, that there was some type of conspiracy against the Raiders.
At the time, we just got hosed.
I wonder if a lot of
it's and not I got so mad.
It's not necessarily the team, the franchise, but it's the owners.
Yeah. That's
that's what the battle is with, as far as the NFL.
Yeah.
Because what's his name? Roger Goodell hates Jerry Jones. I mean, I hate Jerry Jones too, but he does not. It's obvious he don't like all this. He tries to one up him. As far as who's the boss almost. So I'm just kind of waiting for the day, man. It's bad to say, but
well, I think you guys made a nice move by changing the coach.
Yeah, I don't know about the coach.
You're not feeling.
I don't know, man. I would have been good with Urban Meyer, but
were you done with or tired?
I was asked this
Garrett.
Guy. I've been done with Garrett, man. I was done with Garrett when he got hired.
Yeah, that guy had a nice run. He was there a little too long.
There was a thing on another one of those podcastings I was watching on my way home yesterday, and they had a couple. They put 5 or 6 teams, and they put it on a meter from 0 to 12 because his number, destinations that would fit him the best.
Who, Garrett?
No, Tom Brady.
Oh.
And you guys were talking about him going to the Raiders.
Gotcha.
The first one was Miami. It was on a 3.
Oh, wow.
He knows the division, blah blah blah. But no, it's probably they're rebuilding, so that's not gonna happen. The next one was the Indianapolis Colts, and that went pretty high. I was like up to the 9.
I've heard that for a while, yeah.
And the reason why is because, they have a good team. They have a great O-line now, and their defense is pretty decent. It's a full team. They just
good tight end, good receiver.
They need a good quarterback.
Yeah.
And then it switched to the Raiders, and that went down to like a 5. The reason why, because the defense is still not there. A lot of the guys are still rookies, yet there's no. They're still trying to find themselves in a sense. Like they did better, kind of,
right?
But they're still the Raiders, and that's not. Doesn't look like that would be a likely. Other than the only reason why the only reason why it's up to a 5 is because they went to Vegas.
Yeah.
But the one that reached the top was Dallas.
I heard about that. I didn't want to say anything
because
I did hear about
he
that
wouldn't
too.
mind Jerry Jones flapping his because he doesn't give a, he doesn't give a shit.
They're talking about franchise tagging Dak right now.
Yeah. Well, here's the other case of this. If you guys have a good defense, okay, and it could get better. You have draft picks this year. Your offense, your line is, let's say, top 10-ish now. Okay.
Now, yeah.
You have a really good running back that can help, that can pull in the defense.
Good receiver.
You already have good receivers.
Yeah. That'd be a good fit.
All you need to do is draft a tight end now.
Good receiving core, man.
All you need to do is draft a tight end. So, with that being said,
we have Blake Jarwin, man. He's good, man.
With that being said, let's say you get Tom Brady, 2 years, $30 million each.
Yeah.
You're still not paying him as much as you would pay Dak.
Yeah.
And you want to win now, and Jerry Jones has already been known to say, you don't even know the size of the check I would write if you can promise me a Super Bowl.
I'd be okay with it for the money reason.
Plus, it's America's team.
Yeah.
Like how much
Yeah.
indoor.
But the thing is with a quarterback, dude, is like even drafting one at a high position, you don't know what you're getting.
Right.
No, you don't. It takes years.
Right. Like they knew drafting
Derek Carr. I'm
Zeke
still
4th overall.
I don't
they
even
knew
think he's that good.
No.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I just you have Brady for 2 years, then what? You know.
Yeah, you got to move on.
They were talking. Who's that guy from Oklahoma State?
He got drafted.
Justin. What's his?
This coming into the draft this year?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know anyone who's
Justin something. He was you know that show QB1 on Netflix. Have you ever seen it? He was one of the guys on that. He was like a high school guy out of Georgia. He broke all of Deshaun Watson's records.
Oh, okay.
High school records.
He's a running quarterback, or just a good thrower.
No, you know, yeah, he's a running quarterback.
Okay.
They were talking. I don't know if it's him or some other dude they were mentioning. It's one. It's a well-known name in college, but he's not like a high prospect.
Okay.
Because I don't follow college ball too much.
Yeah.
Right.
They were talking about Dallas should pick him up in the 3rd or 4th round as a backup because their backup sucks already.
Yeah.
And just kind of have him basically give Dak a run for his money.
Oh, okay.
But
Dak says he's not going to play on.
Dak says he's not showing up to.
Tag.
He's not showing up to training on a franchise tag.
Well, that means he's not going to play. I mean, that's. What
don't,
are you trying to prove? By that?
Well, that's him not playing.
Yeah.
The Cowboys, they don't play that, right? They'll let you sit.
They would, but I don't know, man. I don't know if he has enough. Jerry has enough years in him to.
I mean, I think it always ends up like that. Like at least with Dallas, they end up paying the guy the big money, and they will coast in the middle somewhere.
Dude, DeMarcus Lawrence is the highest paid defensive end in the league. He had 6 sacks last year.
Just one of those things. Sometimes they play for the contract,
Okay.
and then they get it, and it's like,
It's like, you Raider fan?
Yes.
Penn, right? Penn did the same thing. Donald Penn.
That guy was.
He got big bucks, and then he just stopped.
You know
blocking.
they do that, and then I'm watching the Super Bowl, and when what's his name threw that second pick, I was like, San Francisco guys. And then when San Francisco lost, and I looked at the sideline and all these players, man, I was like, they're all upset as hell. Like they look like little kids. They are little kids, but they look like little kids right now. Like that didn't get what they wanted. Yeah, they got their money, but when they get to that point where it's like that's the mentality players need, man. Where it's like, damn, we didn't make it. That's the reason they made it there, because they had a passion to play in the Super Bowl. These other guys, man, they just I got my check. You know, I'm buying the Bentley.
I'm good. Yeah.
I'm good. You know.
Yeah.
So it's upsetting. Anyway, so we're talking about that whole acting thing, and then you went into what you were talking about. Well, let's fill in people that don't know on your connections with the Lakers locker room and what you do exactly.
Yeah, definitely. So, just kind of like to summarize everything. After high school, I really went into music with some friends of mine, and I kind of took that on full. And I was into hip hop. I was producing, making beats, writing my own songs, and we were recording music. Did some shows. Got a song that was, we pressed up a 12-inch vinyl that was played, on a couple radio stations at times. But it's not that it didn't work. We just things changed for me. Like life happened, and as much as I loved recording and stuff, I had my first child, my son. So, I just started working. And one of my second jobs was, the guys that I was doing music with, how I met these guys to do, it's crazy. How I met these guys to do music was at 24 Hour Fitness, and we used to go late at night, like after 11, because we got the hookup. Somebody used to let us all in. So one of the cats that worked out in there, his name is James Allen, and he does Angels Radio. He produces Roger Lodge's show.
Cool.
Okay.
So he works on Angels Radio.
I like that show.
And he's the producer, James Allen. So he's from Chicago, but he's been out here, and he heard me rap. He was like freestyle for everybody in the gym. He's like, man, I gotta link you up with my cousin. So that's how that happened.
Okay.
That's how
cool.
me and that's my homeboy Coy, Paul Allen. He's a director and producer. He's like in Hollywood. He's doing his thing. He produces shows and stuff, working on a bunch of stuff. But so that's how I met him, and then James. So James was like, yo, fast forward years later, we all kind of, my friends know him. We're all friends. James Allen was working at the time for Sporting News Radio. So he told us like, hey, if you guys want to get in, I can get you guys a gig down at the station, doing board op work. Board op, which I had no idea what that was at the time. When he told me the days and hours that you had to commit, and I was out, because it was like I was like in my 20s, mid 20s going into 30s, and he said that you work in the studio from like Friday night from like 11 p.m. to like 5 a.m. and then Saturday like 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. going into Sunday. So I was immediately like, nah.
Wow.
Nah. Because
what would you be doing?
So during the day, they have actual people doing shows, radio, sports talk shows, live recorded. But after like 10 o'clock, everybody goes home, and you just running you may have a show, you may have one guy on from like 10 to 2, but after that, you're playing pre-recorded stuff, and somebody's got to run the board, somebody's got to play the ads.
Oh, okay, all right.
Make sure
board
the levels,
operator.
Okay. So somebody's got to hold it down and make sure all the ads, all the shows are running right. Screen calls, stuff like that. Not late at night, but just the things a board op does.
Yeah.
Pretty much putting the show together for, like, say you have your own, like you guys have your show here, and say I'd be running the board, screening calls, that type of stuff.
Okay.
So I was out on it because I was young, and I just didn't want to devote my hours like that on the weekend. But David, speaking of David Tamrovic, he took it. He took the job, and he got to go. It was like 2000, the year we played Orlando in the finals, and the next year, well, actually, yeah,
2010-ish, right?
Yeah, the year we played Orlando, that's the year that, and before that, David was, he took the board op job and he got credentials with the station.
Whoa.
Because you gotta, you get a credential, so you get to go to the games and stuff. So
okay.
I was like, damn, because he was like, I couldn't believe his access. Like, it blew my mind. Because we were like diehard Laker fans, and at that time, I was just, I still am, I'm around it. So, but it's different now. But back then, it was like, I was just a fan from the outside looking at, still paying, 125, 150 for a nosebleed seat, to go see a good game, or 125 to sit behind the basket, just a fan like you and me. But David, started doing the board op and telling me, hey, I got a credential, and he's going to all these games and sending me pictures and videos. He's in the locker room, and during the finals, he's in there while they're spraying champagne on each other, and I'm like, oh,
that's
man.
crazy.
So now I'm like, okay, let me know when there's another opening, because I don't mind. I'm not doing much on the weekend anyway. So luckily, David, he and actually it's funny how life works, man. So we went to this party in Hollywood, that the Do-Over. I don't know if you heard of that. They have it. It's like kind of a seasonal party that first started off in a small place, but now it's like big, and they're sponsored by Adidas, and they go all over the world. They do this seasonal party, and it's a Sunday fun day party, daytime thing, sangria, some special guest DJs. It could be like Jazzy Jeff or Biz Markie or Questlove. Just like you never know who's gonna show up. Really fun party. So we go one day on a Sunday when it was at its original spot in Hollywood off of Gower by the Roscoe's over there. And I took David and some friends, and David met this girl there at the party. And they started dating. They fell in love. She was from North Carolina but lived in Miami. So anyway, he falls in love. They get engaged. They get married. So he's gone.
Damn.
He moves out of state. The
Just
job
like
opens up.
That quick?
The job opened up.
How long was that process?
Let's see. This had to be like summer, after the championship. Because I remember he was in there for the whole, with when we beat Boston. He was in there for that.
That was the year
That was at Staples Center. Yeah. So he was there for that. Now the crazy thing is that I was actually I started covering games that season too. I just couldn't go to the finals. So I was still like, paying my dues. So I got to cover some games on a game by game credential basis. But when the finals came, all the big dogs kind of overrode me. But once David, finally moved and fell in love and chased his now wife, the job opened up. So I took the job, and as soon as they started saying, hey, anybody want to go cover the game, I just jumped on every game. And at the time, the Lakers were, the head of media was a guy named John Black, and Allison Blogi, who's now the head of media, she was under him. So I went to so many games that after like 2 or 3 seasons, finally they offered me a season credential. They were like, well, he comes to, all the games because my guy that, vouches for me, the boss of the, at the time, Sporting News, which then became Yahoo Sports, now SB Nation is what, what we represent, would vouch for me before every year, right before media day. Here's my guy. As I'm sure he's come to games and represented us. If you would allow him to cover games this year, and then boom, throw you a season pass, come to media day, get your season pass, and the rest is it. You just show up with your pass to either practice or any home game, and you're in. If it's a road game, you have to request. You have to speak with the home team of that game.
Right.
Let them know who you are. But I don't really travel much with the team like that. I'm not. I've never been that blessed to travel with the team because. There's nobody really sponsoring my flights.
Yeah, you have to pay your own way and stuff. Yeah.
For that, so
makes sense. Yeah.
So, but home games, I'm there. I've been covering the home games. This is the 12th season, if I'm counting correct, that I've been, going to media days, home practices. Not every practice, because I've had day jobs too, that permitted me from not being able to come to practice. But right now, my time's a little more open. So I've covered a lot of the LeBron era and a lot of practices and stuff like that. But I was there for most of
the Friday game.
Kobe's. I was there last Friday. Yeah, I was there for most of Kobe's prime. You know, like when 24 era, like when he kind of became his own and earned everybody's respect and won those 2 titles. And
those were the fun. Those are fun years. Yeah,
awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, you have like one of the probably the best guy on your team, on the team that you root for.
Yeah.
It was always good to watch. Like even if they were playing someone, you know what I mean?
Yeah. He was that good.
It was fun to watch
because you just never knew what he was gonna do. He was gonna do something that wowed you.
Well, I mean, everybody says when he was in uniform, it was like you as a ticket holder going to watch a Lakers game. You know you're gonna get your money's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let me ask you something though. These last few days you've been.
Yeah.
What types of feel like other than what you're talking to players about the situation, like what types of like atmosphere are you getting from how it was before to now, like other than the obvious
in the locker rooms, in the locker practices room, and stuff like that,
everywhere. Yeah.
When it first happened, the practice after that, I remember this all happened on a Sunday. We were supposed to play the Clippers the following Tuesday night.
Right.
So that got canceled, postponed, and then there was a practice, I believe, the next day, and that was the first time everyone saw each other since, because as media, like we all, there's people, of course, before me that have been doing this since, the Magic days that are still there. Guys like Brad Turner. There's OGs, in media that have been there way long before me. But since I started coming, I'm familiar with faces. So many people that I know that we all covered the end of Kobe's career. From his prime time to up to his last game where he dropped 60 at home. We were all there, and so it was. I didn't know what to expect. It was quiet. I mean, the first practice was at the new health facility, it's still in El Segundo. It's literally across the street. I don't know if you guys have ever been to their, where the Toyota Sports Center is in El Segundo. It's off of Nash.
I've
Kings practice there too.
Yeah, no, I've never been there though.
So that's where the Lakers used to practice and have their media days and all that. So that was that's where Kobe did all of his training, and there was never a media day. Kobe he's really not linked to the new facility where they're at. So I got to be honest, like being in there didn't really give me the chills as it would have if it would have been at the older one across the street.
Right.
Just because I've covered so many media days with Kobe in there, and seen practices and all this stuff. But this new facility is more kind of the newer era, like for example, like Lonzo Ball. He's not here no more, but that's a new facility they built up around that time when he was drafted. So I feel like it's more LeBron's. It's
not as connected. Yeah.
So, but it was quiet. Everybody just kind of like, we first saw each other, all the media guys. We were just kind of like shaking our heads, like, wow, like this is surreal. Like, can't believe this really happened. And none of the players talked. We went to practice. I went to practice the next 2-3 days in a row, and we spoke to Coach Vogel, because the players just weren't ready to talk. So we didn't speak to the players until after the first game where they went against Portland. I believe that was last. Was it Thursday? I think. Yeah, Thursday, when they honored Kobe with that tribute before the game.
Friday.
It
was a Friday game.
Yeah. So that it was tough. It was weird. To be honest, that night after that Portland game, I didn't even go into the Lakers locker room because, for one, they announced that LeBron and AD, they were going to bring them into this big room whenever there's a big event with overwhelming media like the finals or All-Star. They don't do it in the locker room. They do it in this large
kind of like a press conference type thing.
So it's just a bunch of chairs and so they did that, and I could have still went in the locker room and got some of the other guys' reaction, but I just couldn't do it, man. It was too soon.
Yeah.
Because now in Staples Center, in the locker room, that's where I talked to Kobe tons of times, and we asked him questions at his locker, and his locker is the one that LeBron has, and they even remodeled the whole locker room once LeBron came, but it still kind of looks the same. But where LeBron's locker is, that's where Kobe's locker was. So, and now when you go in, I went in there last night after the loss to Houston, and he has a Kobe jersey hanging in his locker room.
Yeah, I seen it on the media.
So I don't think he's ever going to take that down.
Yeah.
Out of respect. But and you know what? Even being in there last night, it didn't. I thought that it would give me, chills or vibes. I mean, you're thinking about it. You can't erase the thought. But I was actually okay. But it was tough the first game back, like the one against Portland.
Yeah,
being in that building,
yeah,
seeing all the people outside, and
especially when you get used to it. You're used to seeing a certain something, or that first thing you think of Lakers. That what's the next thing, you know? And
Kobe.
that thing it's not there.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough. Man.
Very.
Whenever someone of big caliber passes away, the media comes out, they always say something like they kind of regurgitate the same information about the person, oh, he's such a good, nice person and this and that. But something I always saw with Kobe, and it was especially through his social media, was that the things that were being said were completely genuine, because the fact that he could be spending his time, with people that kind of didn't live the same lifestyle as him. You know what I mean? It wasn't just he didn't when Jordan retired, right? And I know Jordan's not part of the social media era, but when Jordan retired, you don't hear much about Jordan.
Mm-mm.
You don't hear much about. All you hear about Magic is what he's investing in, and anything that connects back to the Lakers.
Yeah.
But when you heard about Kobe, it was all these different things he was doing.
Different avenues.
He was around people in the community in Orange County. He's always in Disneyland. People see him in Disneyland.
Right.
I had a friend text me a picture of him sitting at a volleyball tournament in Vegas because her daughter was playing at the volleyball tournament. He's just sitting there. People coming, superstars don't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I remember you posting a video of him. Was it his retirement ceremony when he came up to you, shook your hand, asked, "Oh, what you been up to?" This and that.
Yeah.
And just seeing how enthusiastic he was to you, it's it shows that arrogance he had on the court was necessary for what he did on the court, but that wasn't him.
No.
You could see how humble he was to people, when he was just being like Kobe. That's it. Talk about, outside of basketball and outside of what people see on social media. How'd you perceive him as a person that you just go talk to?
Well, it's funny because he, a lot of us will tell you too, a lot of people who knew him, that warmness and kindness, it came a long way, because he was very serious, in his early years. He wasn't, and this is not, a knock or any shade, but he wasn't always as welcoming, because he was just in a different mind state back in his earlier career days. He was more focused on the game, and if he didn't really know you that much, or if it wasn't basketball related, or if they lost a game, he was not trying to crack jokes or talk to anybody. He was upset. I've heard that if you saw him out in public somewhere, like at South Coast Plaza, I've heard stories that him and his wife weren't as welcoming because they were together, and they considered that family time.
Yeah.
I don't. If I take one picture, I have to take 1,000. I'm just not trying to do that right now. Yeah. So people might have taken that the wrong way. Oh, he's not. He wasn't cool. This and that. But listen, I've never. When I came around 2008, 2009, this guy was always cool. No matter. I've seen his seriousness. I've seen a side where it's all right. Don't you might want to don't talk to him tonight. Just give him space. Because you got to understand, you got to know,
right.
It's not the time for that. But he's never ever He was never disrespectful to me. I've never seen him snap or go crazy on anybody, or like all this stuff that I heard before I was around him. It wasn't true. You know, what's true is that he was a genuine guy and that he was a nice guy off the court. Mm-hmm. But he had to be serious when he was in season mode and when he was playing basketball. I mean,
oh yeah, he took his craft seriously. You know, he wanted to win.
Yeah, that's
in
it.
all actuality,
that's it.
It's that's what made him good. You know, the players nowadays, and that's part of the heartache that most of the fans are feeling now is like there aren't any other people like that anymore. Even okay, LeBron, you're gonna really have to sell it to me. He still has to show me that he has that. He has a little bit, but not that much. And all these other guys, I don't know. I think if they you take one thing away from them, they're gonna cry. You know what I mean? It's just this guy didn't cry. I'm gonna play.
He's from that. He was like last of a dying
Last
breed.
of a dying breed.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's from that old school era where before he comes from the era where it was about winning and none of that. Way before social media. So I think that's the thing too. Like now, it's just a different era and social media is so huge. And some players, that's all they really care about. They want you to film them walking in, with their outfit and see what they're wearing.
Yeah,
and,
you're right.
And they're on social media during games and seasons, and it's just, when we were growing up, you didn't see that. They didn't have that. So, who knows what it would have been like if they would have had that. Back in the day, they probably would have. They probably would have been clowning too. Like,
I don't know,
Barkley,
man.
Shaq. They would have had fun with it. Shaq loves social media, so
but it's still that hunger they have.
Yeah,
man.
Kobe. I was surprised when Kobe got a Twitter, man, and when he got Instagram, I was shocked. And when I saw him post, I was like, wow, because he's such a private dude. He's not that guy that would let you into his life like that or show family stuff. But he was so proud of his movements and what he was doing.
Right.
And, his what do you call that, analysis of the game when he was doing the thing with ESPN that
I heard about that.
He was breaking down players and stuff.
It's pretty neat.
And then he was into storytelling and
he had that kids podcast and all that.
Yeah.
The Punies. It's crazy. I mean, under horrible circumstances, but how everything that's happened, like the timing of everything, from him letting people in, and then you started seeing this whole different side of him. It's been recent.
Yeah.
This hasn't been going on for that long, but you started seeing because I remember the first things I started seeing was his oldest daughter's volleyball. He'd start showing his oldest daughter's volleyball games, all this stuff, and then it kind of usually when you look at social media, you wonder, is this player posting it or does he have somebody there for or you know what I mean? But you could tell he didn't have a publicist,
right?
And I think the thing is you saw that, and then you saw, LeBron break the record, not break the record, but pass him up,
yeah. And
then you saw it was kind of I was listening to Skip and Shannon, and they made a good point about that message he left for LeBron was kind of opening up the doors for Laker fans to let LeBron in, as a Laker, and this it happening the day after, and these just
unbelievable.
It's insane, dude. If that's the last few months. If it happened a few months earlier, it's would there have been a little bit of different perspective on it? You know what I mean? Because it's almost he got so accomplished, but there was so much more to accomplish because of his age. But you can't even be mad because of how much he got accomplished for that reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he was moving quick. Yeah. There was, I think the thing that killed me the most was the fact that his daughter was on there and the relationship they have and all these pictures they post of him and his daughter and the videos and you could see the relationship they have. I mean, a parent's not supposed to say I have a favorite, but it's obvious they had that connection,
right?
And it sucks.
And
man.
my mom I was just everybody was questioning why the kids, why them too, but
Yeah.
My mom kind of made a point, and I'm not saying that this is why it happened, but I mean, you know how they say everything happens for a reason. You know?
Right.
Hey, you just got to think, you know, if this, God forbid, either way it's messed up, but, you know, this is a girl that you can see the relationship with her father, you know, going to games, and you can imagine how much time he spent with her, you know, teaching her the fundamentals, and you could see it on the court in some of her highlights. She had the fadeaway down pat.
Right,
you know, she looked
right.
just like her dad. I've seen like video comparisons of them too, and
You seen the facial expression?
that's not something she, you know, watched tape and learned. She had her dad, the teacher,
Yeah.
teaching him. But, you know, God forbid, has she not been on the plane and
It would have tore her up.
he, you know, it was just him. You know, how does she might
How
not,
where's her life go like
she
that?
would've
Yeah,
tore-
you're right.
Even the older daughter, man, I know that too. The older daughter probably doesn't want to do anything right now, and it's unfortunate. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was just gonna say it was just shocking, man. It was just really shocking. And the thing is, like, you watch them, you know, grow up and stuff. You watch all those games and stuff like that, and championships and all that. It was just one of those weird days.
Yeah, I think the thing that hit home for me is because, like, I remember being like 3-4 years old, and you know, Showtime Lakers were. I remember seeing them on little tube TVs, like when my uncle would come over, because my uncle, not by blood, but you know, nonetheless, my uncle, he was like at like every game. He's watching every Laker game up until he died. You know, when Kobe came in and all that, and I was never. Like, when I started getting into sports, it was Jordan, right? It was like that back end of Jordan.
Same.
Like, coming out of retirement.
Magic was on his way out.
Yeah, Jordan was in.
Jordan's taking over.
Yeah, and then like he came back in, and then junior high comes around, and there comes this kid like talking all this smack, and you know, me not being a Laker fan, but my brother's like hardcore Laker fan. He's 6 years older than me, so he caught more of that Magic era. And, you know, watching that transition and just kind of being like grandfathered into being a Laker fan.
Right.
And if Kobe wasn't there, like, I probably wouldn't have given much care to basketball.
That's a good point. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
he made you want to watch.
He made me want to watch
every game.
Yeah. So, you know, just kind of seeing that happen, it's just like, if he would have retired and just done nothing and just went to vacation for 4 years, I don't know if it would have hit me as hard. But the fact that he was trying to do better and better and better, and it's just you don't know. You know, you look at like Magic show up to, like, ceremonies or whatever, or Shaq on TV every day, and you see them age, and it just sucks that you're never gonna see this dude age.
No.
You know what I mean?
I got so many memories, just good memories, and a lot of it I actually had like on my phone. Unfortunately, I only had his last game, his final game against Utah, where he scored 60. I had that whole night on footage, and something happened with that phone, and it was on an older Instagram account.
Yeah.
And I got a new account now, but I wasn't able to retrieve it. But that night, I mean, it was like a movie, man. That I gotta say, that's my favorite memory and night, hands down. Probably as a Laker fan. I mean, even the championship nights were great, and nothing beats that, winning a championship. But just to see how everybody came out that night, I mean, you see Jay-Z, you know, Kanye, everybody's there that night. And you see these people, and they're all here to see his final game. And, you know, he started off slow, and he delivered. And he just went off for 60. And then after the game, it was a media circus, right? So, you know, they took him in that big room that I was just telling you about, and everyone interviewed him, and he talked. And after that, people were just kind of lingering, and all of a sudden, I see a couple media guys like few people running to the court. So I followed him. And you wouldn't believe it, man. On the court, Kobe Bryant with all his kids, his wife, and he's just like, soaking it all in. The court had, 8 and 2-4 on it. He's signing the 8, signing the 2-4. He's kissing the court in different places, like spots he's shot on. Like he's really taking this all in. Like, right. I'm done. This is it. I'm not coming back. And I just want to savor this moment. Everybody was gone. It was like him, Vanessa, the kids, and some cameramen, a few media. Not everybody knew this. Yeah. So we're all on the court watching this and watching him sign the court, taking pictures with his kids on the court. And I got to, after, everybody was coming up, not everybody, but the few people that were on the court was, shaking his hand and hugging him. And I was one of the lucky ones that, got to shake his hand and hug. And I just told him, thank you, man. Thank you for all these years of, of just moments and content and everything. And, it was genuine, man. It was a genuine moment. And I just wish I still had that footage. But that's one of those things I'll never forget, like the game winner that year when he was doing the game winners had like 7 or 8 game winners in a row and it was becoming a thing. I was there for all those. You
like you expected it.
Expected it. So yeah, just a lot of great times, man, and memories. And yeah, like you said, it just sucks that we won't, get to see him age and be on the TNT panel for a couple times with Shaq and Chuck and all them. That would have been cool to see in the Hall of Fame and all that. It's just unfortunate, Yeah. Biggest sports tragedy, in my opinion, ever.
Who do you think is going to be the next superstar? I mean, LeBron's going out now. Soon.
LeBron had his time. LeBron he's got an interesting opportunity here, because like you said, you mentioned, he's got to sell you, and that's the truth.
I think he's good. I don't even think he's that. I think he was way better when he was younger.
Yeah.
We're getting the trimmed down version.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
no problem. We're getting the it looks like LeBron, but it doesn't play like
LeBron. A lot of money. Yeah. He's got a lot of. You got to think too. This guy has been playing at that level, such a high level, his whole life. I mean, since he's.
I remember watching the McDonald's high school. Yeah. I remember they stopped everything on ESPN, and it was like a big thing. And I'm watching like, who the hell is this guy, man? With the thing on, and he was bigger than everybody else.
He came in with so much hype.
Yeah, and he came in and he was actually really good. I remember when he was like, even the rookie year, like he had a buzzer beater at banked in or something.
Yeah, he lived.
There was a couple games and I was like, wow, that was pretty good. But when he went to Miami, I didn't even watch.
Yeah.
So you hear it. Oh man, that team is on fire and this and this and that.
You didn't respect the move or the fact that he kind of joined.
Well, again,
2 other.
No, I mean, it was cool, like the hype around it. Like, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach. I was driving on my way home from work, and I'm listening. They're going to, he still hasn't gotten there yet. Jim Gray's going to interview him and all that. Finally, I get home, first thing I run into the garage, turn on ESPN or whatever channel it was, and they showed it. And that was cool.
Right.
Everything after kind of, it still didn't sell me on, like, no, I should watch. You know what I mean?
I mean, he's great, but I can't put him in the same.
He doesn't have finesse.
I guess
he's a power player.
I guess when you look at him, he's been playing at such a high level for so many years that eventually Father Time's gonna catch up to him, because he's not. I mean, it seems like he's immortal. Because he still does things like wow, like 17 years straight, and you can still play at this level, but he's putting it, his career, I feel like, and he's definitely deserves the props that he gets, but I've always felt like I didn't like when everybody put him ahead of Kobe just so fast.
Everybody's still talking about like, is he better than Jordan? And
where's
this conversation about Kobe?
Kobe was the closest thing that we've seen to MJ. I mean, 5 rings, 6 rings.
The thing is with Kobe,
it's determination.
It's not that killer. There was always a crutch where he had Shaq with him, and the unbelievable team they had, Horry and Harper and all those fucking guys, man. Yeah. It was a really good team, and the coach.
Yeah, and then he won 2.
Yeah.
He had to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
He had to win without Shaq,
Yeah.
and that's when he started kind of earning,
Yeah.
Everybody's respect.
But, you know.
So
It's yeah. I
well,
don't know about LeBron.
what I want to say about LeBron is that he's coming here. Was big for him because it's such a big market here, and the fans are passionate, and all they care about is championships. We don't care about winning, season games.
No.
So especially now, I mean, it's unfortunate, but he's put in this position now where the spotlight is on him, and the city's really counting on him to deliver a championship.
Yes. I mean, what else are you gonna do right now? You got Anthony Davis, and you got all those other guys on the team. I mean,
Clippers
anything
are
else
looking
is
nasty right now.
Clippers
at least get to the
nasty, man.
finals for Christ's sake.
Yeah,
I mean, come
Clippers
on.
are going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Clippers are going to be a problem.
Yeah.
But he's put in a position where, like you said, you got to show me something. And I think if he's able to deliver a championship, he'll win over the hearts of everybody in Los Angeles.
They will. That'll be the ticket right there.
Yeah.
Definite.
That's all they want.
Definite. Yeah, I mean, because not only that, like, you will join the alums, Magic and Kareem and Kobe and Shaq winning championships in LA,
There's just something
You're
about
part of that crew now,
your loyalty to a city.
He's just trying to.
I know. That's just me, man. Like when a player starts with a city and retires with that city, that says something really big.
It's huge.
He moved here for his kids, though. I mean, the
kids
are going to those schools up there. They're really hoity-toity schools,
Everybody
and his
wants
son
to
is
live- everybody
playing
wants to
ball,
live
I
out
think,
here,
or
too.
something like
Sierra
that.
Canyon.
Yeah, it's
kids
a move. It's a money move. Number one.
Yeah.
Plus, and his kids are gonna be in LA and a nice school and all that.
It's a good opportunity for the fan. I mean, like, everybody wants to live out here. It's expensive as hell to live out here, but if you got the money,
He's
it's
got
out
it,
here.
Yeah.
He's got opportunity to be part of like one of the biggest sports stories ever. With I mean, like I said, it's unfortunate that we lost Kobe. And like I've never seen anything like that in sports. There's been some deaths in sports, but this one, it was just like never seen before. But if he can rally the troops and somehow bring a championship home, just imagine what that story will look like years from now.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's necessarily sports so much as just a known figure, man.
Yeah, even celebrities.
Like Michael Jackson passed, Prince passed.
Yeah, those were all shocking too, but not this one.
It wasn't like this, man.
This one
this
hit
was
hard.
like huge. Like it was like
and just
every like you're watching the tennis matches, the golfing, the
in just one of the worst ways possible that you can imagine.
It's crazy.
With this kid and just the last way you would think, because and we all thought too, like this guy's immortal. He's tough as nails. Nothing can stop him. We seen him playing a finals game with a broken finger. All these injuries.
I forgot about that.
Separated shoulders. He's played through all these injuries and where hitting the free throws on a torn Achilles, where you never see other athletes as tough as that, or anybody for that matter. So that's why everybody was like, couldn't believe it, because you would think, if this copter's going down, he's gonna find a way to survive. He's gonna come out of it.
Did you hear about the cartoon?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Did you watch it?
I did not watch it.
I watched it.
Somebody sent it to me on Instagram, and
You didn't watch
it was too soon. I just couldn't deal with it. But it was from what I saw, I was just like, wow, they predicted it right.
So, like, you get those chills. I didn't get the chills. I'm gonna tell you why. Everybody knew he was in a helicopter every day.
That's how he rolled.
20 years.
That's how he rolled.
So if you're gonna predict something like that, that's how you're gonna predict it.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Please explain the cartoon to someone that doesn't know what the hell you're talking about.
Okay, the cartoon. It's a small clip on social media. It came out 2006-ish, I think. It's a cartoon.
In 2006?
Yeah, around that time.
Okay.
It's a cartoon.
Okay.
Of a broke down helicopter, and like cartoon depiction of Kobe under it, talking, still alive, and these guys come up. I guess main characters in the cartoon, and they're like, like, oh, it's Kobe, and he's holding the 2 trophy or 3 trophies, and they're like, oh, throw us the trophies so we can help you out, and he's like, nah, he's like, hold on to him.
Right.
The helicopter blows up, and then all you see is 5 rings land on the floor,
Wow.
and they grab 3 rings, and they're like, this is for Shaq. And that's the end of the clip.
And that was
who
around
made
that
that
time.
cartoon?
I forgot the name.
ESPN or something
I
like
forgot
that?
the name, but I'll show it to you. I'll look it
Yeah.
up. I forgot the name.
And that was around that time when
That's pretty clever.
He went to Miami. And,
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, it's just it is, but it's just eerie. Like I wonder the people that wrote that how they feel about it.
Yeah.
Oh, now? Yeah.
Like how could you
man.
feel about it right now? And then did you hear about this guy Ari?
The comedian.
Yeah. Okay. So you remember
I
Sober
saw
October?
that.
That's the guy. That's one of the Sober October guys.
Yeah.
You hear what Joe Rogan said about him?
No, that's the
Oh.
thing. I've been looking
No.
and I haven't
So
seen
Joe
shit.
Rogan was like, he's like, some guy was on the show with him. He's like, it was so dumb. It was so dumb for him to say that. And Joe Rogan was like, I need to find a more stronger word than dumb.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like he's like, that was the stupidest.
It is. It
And
is.
the thing is with Joe, like I was looking up what Joe Rogan says because I said if Joe Rogan were to defend him, I would stop listening to Joe Rogan right now.
Yeah. But
That's how
not
it was.
gonna
But the
happen.
thing is about Joe Rogan is he's
Straight up, man.
straight up.
Yeah.
This dude being his friend, he still
And a
said,
good friend too. Like
good
very
friend.
good.
He still called him out on it.
Checked him.
Yeah.
The thing
So-
is, that guy, he's known to be on drugs most of the time, either hallucinogens and all that kind of shit. But he's a weirdo anyways.
Yeah.
That guy.
And
Ari
he's-
Shafir.
He said that that's his thing. He makes fun of when people die.
Like in
Like
front of the wrong.
Oh,
motherfucker.
he's the awkward comedian.
Yeah.
100%.
It wasn't even a joke though.
yeah,
No,
I saw
no,
the
no.
There was
clip, and
nothing
it just wasn't
funny
funny.
about
Yeah,
that. There were, like,
It's
even-
not a joke. If he said it was a joke, he did it only because of the backlash.
yeah.
That's not. You could.
You think he was serious? Like
He was serious.
Clickbait.
He was serious.
motherfucker.
And now everybody knows who Ari Shafir
Oh,
is.
he's
Clickbait.
done. His management dropped him.
There we
Day
go.
of.
That's another. You can't. Not with him. You could have done that to Michael Jackson or something. You know what I
could've.
mean?
See, that was another.
Because there was a question there.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no question here.
That
Like,
was
come on,
another
man.
point
Like,
Skip Bayless made, like Michael Jackson, Prince, who's another recent one. Like anyway, all these recent ones that went.
Roberto Clemente.
Who's that? Baseball?
Roberto Clemente.
Baseball? Is it baseball?
Haramulo.
Is it baseball?
Yes.
I don't know.
You gotta watch some clips.
Anyway, these recent ones had some type of self-inflicted behavior, like whether it was drugs, sleeping pills, something that they put themselves in a predicament to go early, right? Like they were doing some type of drug over. They had some dependency.
Yeah, they had
on
issues.
something.
They had issues.
But the Kobe situation
This is
was just
just-
a
and-
straight out tragedy.
Yeah.
And it's not just he was, like by himself and stuff. There was other people too. It's just
Horrible.
happens that they were
Families.
going somewhere on a usual trip that they would make, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun.
sucks. It sucks.
Remember, I called you that morning, and you're like, I went out to brunch with my mom. You remember?
Yeah,
And I was like, dude.
that was early in the morning. Yeah.
I was like, I was leaving the house. I remember I said, dude,
Yeah.
it's foggy as hell. You can't even see the
Yes,
sun.
yes. I remember. Yeah.
And then when I got home, it was like
Unusual.
it was like, when you drive by a park,
Yeah.
it was like that everywhere.
Yeah.
You see that mist.
Yeah.
And I was watching some like the flight path resimulation. And they were talking about, because we used to go camping out there, right off that exit,
Wow.
Las Virgenes,
wow.
Malibu Creek State Park.
Oh.
So the campsite is like a mile from right there,
From
the
the
crash site. If you drive up another 5 miles, you're in Malibu,
Yeah.
like the actual ocean. So all that mist coming in, the greenery, because it's
wow.
it's been wet the last couple of years, so a lot of greenery has been growing, and it picks up all that moisture. Dude, if they're grounded, they need to like put out some type of alert where it's like, if police helicopters are grounded, everybody has to be grounded. It has to be a law. Like you cannot fly.
Yeah.
It's just sick. Like
I think it was just they're high profile and rules sometimes don't apply. or you can
Well,
stretch.
I mean, the thing is, it
You can
wasn't.
stretch
It
You
wasn't
can
a rule.
stretch.
Like they asked them.
It happens. Yeah.
They asked them, you got whatever.
If
they
me and you go to Long Beach Airport and we
Right.
rent a freaking helicopter and it's that fog, they would be like, dude, I'm not going out in this stuff,
Yes, you're probably
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
But since it's probably a private,
Or if it's probably
private
like
driver,
yeah,
some pretty rich people inside, you know what I mean? Why
the fog out there is probably a lot worse too.
Yeah.
Like there was.
So they just I don't know if you guys probably heard by now, but they're gonna have a memorial for him at Staples Center.
February 24th, yeah. 2/24.
Yeah.
His daughter's
20.
jersey, his
Oof,
daughter.
that's a long time
Yeah,
from now.
20
2/24,
years.
20.
Yeah.
Oh, but when is the actual whatever?
No, they're doing it because of 2 for his daughter's jersey.
Oh no,
2
I get
yeah.
it. I get you there.
Oh, the funeral's probably private.
It's already done, right?
Not
It's been a
necessarily.
week.
Well, we would have heard something.
Uh,
We would have saw some photos
friend
if
of
they
the
had it.
family, his it's like 3 weeks out the funeral
Oh,
for the
okay.
death, so
Gotcha.
they could stretch it.
And they're gonna do the baseball coach. His is gonna be at Angel Stadium, I
Oh,
believe.
really?
Oh.
I don't know the date of that,
Okay.
but I'm just wondering how they're going to.
It's gonna be a
As far as,
lot of
tickets
people.
and stuff.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be.
It has to be a
lot of
lottery,
people.
right?
It's. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but I can imagine it's gonna be probably 100,000 people.
You think it's going to
trying
be
to get to
outdoor
Staples.
too?
It's at Staples Center.
You think they're going to show it on outdoor?
I don't know.
Because I'd take off work to go to that.
I don't know.
Well, they have the screens at LA Live.
They
right?
do, but
yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna show it. I mean,
It's just he's not. I mean, they're not going to have the casket right there, are they?
No. It's just a memorial.
I'm
service.
sure they'll show it.
No, you think they might?
well,
Because Nipsey, they had the casket there.
from what I was told, and you guys have probably heard it too. There's, he was like, there wasn't much left. So I would
yeah.
imagine.
I didn't even hear it.
I would imagine it would
was
be
that
maybe
bad?
like maybe an urn.
Exploded,
or,
dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I mean,
Dude, that's why it took the recovery process took so long. Because
Yeah.
they said the third day that they only had 4, and they determined one was him, but it was probably through DNA, man.
Yeah. It was just awful.
But I don't. There's a possibility they might show it. I mean, I wouldn't see why not. Especially they're gonna have like
They almost might.
his
They might
celebrities
have to
and stuff. Yeah,
because there's
so many people outside.
Well,
With
they're doing that for the LA natives, man. They're doing it for that's not something for the family. Like the family's doing. I'm sure the family has
Do
their own
something
thing.
different.
They
of
have
course. Yeah.
From what I was told, that they left everything up to Vanessa. Your
Right.
call. How do you want to do this?
Right.
What do you want to do?
to. Right.
So anything that's happening this came from her, and they were going back and forth between the Coliseum and Staples.
I heard about that.
I personally wish they would have did it at the Coliseum, just so that way everybody can go and say they were there.
Yeah.
Because do you remember when they had the parade? The year after they beat Orlando, it was 2009.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of
The
remember.
parade was at the LA Coliseum, and we as fans, me and some buddies, went the night before, 4 in the morning, 3:30 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and it was already a madhouse. There's people out there waiting to get in. So, and that thing filled up. We're talking like 96,000 people.
It's big.
Filled from the bottom to the top for the Lakers
Yeah,
parade.
you're talking about the field too, the field access too.
It was packed.
Because the seats alone are like 75,000.
Packed. So I can imagine it being like this times 2 for Kobe Bryant's memorial service. Everybody's going to want to be there. And Staples Center only fits 20-something thousand people.
Yeah, but I understand the significance of doing it.
Oh, yeah. It's his house.
Yeah, but I see where you're getting at, but I don't know, man. I wonder if it's going to be something like how it's going to be out in the streets of LA as far as
I hope it doesn't get crazy,
No, I'm not. I don't think it will.
Nah.
It'll be organized.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? Because when I went to LA Live,
you went to sign the.
I went and signed it. I mean, I had to kneel down on the bottom and sign the very bottom. It just so filled up.
Yeah.
But I heard they were switching those things out too.
Probably.
Constantly.
They had to.
What was crazy was the concrete was all signed. And the way the concrete was signed, though, it wasn't like they were just bombing it up. It was everything was like formatted in a way where it's like if the cracks of the concrete are like this, people were riding inside like perfectly straight. they were respecting each other's spaces on there. You know, a couple of the signs had like graffiti like Kobe's name where they went over people's stuff.
Yeah.
But for the most part, people were being very respectful of like the area other people were signing on.
That's cool.
And that whole walkway up to Staples Center was completely covered with messages. So I hope they leave it, man.
I think they will.
I hope they do. I hope it doesn't come to a point where, okay, it's time to clean up.
When I was, all the stuff is gone, but the writing, last night leaving the game, I walk in the car, I seen writing all over the
It's nice, man. It's not bad.
And, one thing that kind of like is overwhelming is, you know, there's people out there about a block up, overwhelmingly trying to sell stuff, and
that's the thing that bothers me.
T-shirts and hats and stuff, and it's just like, come on, man, you know, like
they're always anytime there's any kind of sporting event or any kind of event, they'll be there.
Because this ain't, you know, it's not authorized stuff, and I get it, you know, we all gotta eat and live out here, but you know, that's just a little overwhelming to me. It's like, you know,
it's a respect.
Calm down,
it's
disrespectful.
It's almost like going to a funeral and trying to sell.
If you saw Vanessa walking up right now,
she wouldn't want
with
to
their family, would you be trying to push this gear, or would you take a step back?
They probably wouldn't even know if
you
they
know,
saw it, man. I was, the crazy thing about it was like when I was there with all the people that were there, like not a peep, dude.
Yeah. It was quiet.
Like every once in a while when people would talk, like they're talking to a friend and they just kept it very quiet, but like nothing. Like there was no.
How soon do you think they get a statue up outside of? You gotta imagine that's coming pretty soon.
I just hope. I mean, if they're gonna take their time, I'm hoping it's for them trying to figure out exactly
what pose. What do you do?
I think it should be a fadeaway jump shot. To be honest,
fadeaway jumper, or I always thought
the celebration, or not.
81 points. You know, when he's walking to the bench and he just throws his finger up. It's kind of a simple.
Yeah.
The Shaq one is nice, you know. Have you seen it, right? He's dunking legs up.
They sell those little ones, man.
I don't know. I would say within the next 5 years at the most, they'll definitely before it gets too late, you know. Before, because if you do it after a certain time, you're gonna be like, "What the hell took you so long?"
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's gonna be pretty quick.
Yeah.
What do you think about the retiring of the numbers in the league and the logo and all that stuff they're saying? How are your feelings on that?
Like as far as like changing him to the logo?
Changing him to the logo.
Personally, I respect it. If they did it, I think it would be a great move. And the reason why I say it, you know, a lot of people are saying like, "Oh, hold on," but you got to think. Times change, man. There's different eras, and most of the kids that are in the league now that are, you know, grown men, who you ask them, who'd you come up watching? Who'd you want to be like? You know what I mean? And most of them will tell you Kobe. And like you said, you know, we all watched because of Kobe. Well, I think it would be respectful to do it because, you know, and it's no disrespect to Jerry West, but, you know.
He wants it.
Nope. And kids, people watching the game now, people in the game couldn't tell you much about Jerry West unless they were an absolute basketball nut like Kobe Bryant,
exactly.
Who knew all the players, who knew about Oscar Robertson, people before him. But and again, it's no disrespect to Jerry West. I think, you know, he definitely had a big impact on the game, but it's just a new era now. You know, they're changing so many things and doing so many things now for the new era that's coming up. I think that would be an appropriate move, in my opinion, because so many people looked up to him. He expanded the game. You see what he did in China and other countries.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't say that about every player. Not every player had an effect like Kobe did. You know, where you can get MVP chance in Boston. You know,
right?
Well,
I mean,
my argument with that, I like the logo.
Yeah.
Jerry West. I've seen the picture where it's modeled after him. That will never burn. Yeah, but I'm older than what's coming up now. Okay?
Right.
But the thing is, it's a good. Yes, let's do it because he was such a great guy and all that. Would we have done it if he's still alive? Hell no.
Change him to the logo?
Yes.
Right.
Because there's NBA players. You just
Before
go
him.
before he
Right.
go look at any of those videos when they ask him like, "What are you thinking? No way."
Yeah.
You know, and
You could say the same thing for Jordan too.
that's the thing. We're forgetting one thing. Remember, Kobe's not the best player
Yeah,
ever.
but Jordan's logo
Kinda speaks for
is-
itself.
It's Nike.
It's Jordan.
Yes.
Like everybody know, like that stand.
I know,
speaks
but
for
Kobe
itself.
wasn't the NBA.
Yeah.
He wasn't Mr. NBA to me. I don't remember anybody else. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah. Would he have wanted?
is it?
That's-
It's only warranted because he died young. I hate to say that, but
Yeah, I mean, I see the.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I
think-
would use this for something else bigger than that.
I mean,
Actual helping,
I see that.
you know.
How do you feel about the retiring his number across the leagues? Though both of the numbers.
That's not a bad idea.
Like for every
Truth
team.
be told, like Jackie Robinson kind of thing.
Yeah.
42.
Mm.
You won't see people wearing 42.
So 8 and 24 off.
Off.
I know Dallas did it
That-
right away.
I think Dallas did it with 24. Did they do it with
It's
82? They did
yeah.
it both.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea. I just hope it actually, they're doing it for a reason. I hope that reason, whatever permeates, like people will still realize what the hell's 8 and 24.
You know what? I think the
You know.
good thing about it, like years to come,
Do it for a
even
purpose,
generations
you know?
to come, when people ask, why can't they wear 8 and 24? It's like always going to be a reminder. Like someone's going to be there to explain. You can't wear 8 and 24.
Oh, that's Kobe.
because of this
Who's
rule.
Kobe?
Right.
Look it up.
Look it up.
Boom. Yeah.
You got YouTube.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a nice homage
Yeah.
if they didn't and players wanted to honor.
Yeah.
I think it would be a nice tribute.
And
Definitely,
that's another reason why I think they shouldn't change the logo, because if you're gonna if you're gonna look at basketball for what it is now, and that's all you're gonna kind of know, it's a shame.
You think it's like
If you go back to Jerry West,
Yeah.
you'll have to look at all
It's like
Chamberlain.
That's true.
you're
Shaq.
talking about like it being like a stinger, right? Like having that emblem. Like I could see the drawback of like having that emblem. It's like, damn. Like you see that emblem. That's the way. I mean, I wouldn't mind them changing it because I see the effects he's had, but just kind of like it's almost like reminding you of the day, like because that was when they first started being discussed. I don't think they're going to in the long run.
Look at we're gonna fast forward to the future. We're here. It's 2045.
I wish.
Okay, all right,
wish I was-
2045, and someone's gonna be like, "Who's the guy on the logo?" Oh, that's Kobe.
Yeah.
They put him on the logo because he died, but there were better players than him. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If you-
but there was better players
If you
than Jerry
keep
West.
it, imagine. I know, but he.
Yeah.
What's his nickname? Jerry West,
Mr. Logo.
Mr. Clutch.
Clutch.
There's a reason why he went to a bunch of championships. Didn't win many,
Yeah.
but he went to a bunch of them.
Yeah.
He was the first
I saw him hit like a
big
full court.
star. Everybody
court
knew
shot
Jerry
for the
West.
win.
He was the white boy, USA, and all that.
Yeah.
There was Boston. They were just killing everybody.
Yeah.
But who was the other guy?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I just see it. It could. Maybe it's just me.
You
being,
just don't like the reasoning for.
Yes, the reasoning.
Yeah.
The reasoning.
Yeah.
Him, I don't mind. He's a great player. Kobe.
Yeah.
Shit, put him in there.
Yeah.
But not because of that, dude. Not because of that. There's a reason why they put Jerry West. Not just because it looked good. Because back in those days, like when the NBA was starting to become somewhat fruitful and building,
Yeah.
Lakers moved to LA. Who came? Jerry West. Like there's a story behind it. There's a thing. That's why,
Yeah.
Kobe, why? Because he died young. Come on, man.
Yeah. I don't. Think
You'll
they're-
ruin it.
I
You
don't-
ruin it.
I don't
You
think
know
they're
what I mean?
saying because of that though. It's kind of like.
They're saying
they're
it
paying-
now, but before he died, they said, hell no.
No.
Not even Jordan.
Yeah. I think.
And Jordan is like at least with NBA play. Oh, there's nobody like Jordan.
Go.
You know what I mean? That's the first thing they would. Oh, there's nobody like Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kobe was Mamba, but there's nobody like Jordan.
Yeah.
Why do they say that? I don't know. I wasn't on the court with them. I didn't see all that shit, but it's just, that's my argument with it.
Right. No, I get it.
I'm a Laker fan. I'd love to have, but at the same time, it's like you would think, oh, man, because of that, you know.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think for like right now's reasoning for people to even think of that, it's just like paying homage. But
let it linger a little bit. Let it
linger.
Yes.
Go through the process, and which I think everybody's doing. I mean, I don't think they're jumping as a same thing with the statue. It's just like, okay, what are we gonna put? Which pose? What's gonna represent?
Is he gonna have the fro? Is he not?
Maybe
you know
two.
I mean?
Might have two statues.
One on each side.
1-8, 1-2-4.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Or maybe on the front it has the 8, on the back it's 24. Maybe.
You think they're keeping the 8 and the 24 in the court?
Hope they do.
They should, huh? That has to stay, man.
I hope they do.
That he would move. He moved into that house when the house was
his court.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna put any numbers out there, I'd put 33 and 32.
Yeah, they deserve to be out there.
Why?
Corner.
Who scored the most
Yeah, but
points?
they weren't in Staples
and
Center.
NBA. Who's the?
But it's Staples Center.
They did a poll back in the day.
Yeah.
This was like maybe 96-ish, somewhere around there. Top 50 players of all time.
Yeah.
Who's number 1? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Of course.
Why? Because he scored the most points and all that. I put that number.
He's very.
See, that's why I don't like.
It's cream for the Lakers, but I'm talking about Staples Center, like that.
Oh, like on top of the stadium?
No, I'm talking about the
court.
reason, like leaving it on the court for the reason that Kobe's.
You know what he's talking about
Staples
on the
Center. He's not the Great Western Forum. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, on the floor they have the. On the
where they would usually put playoffs, like when it's in the play, they have the 8 and the 20, with the black, right? It's in black,
Yeah. It's just because he has a connection to that physical ground.
You built that.
Yeah.
Pretty much built that.
That's like his home. That's his home.
First championship in there.
You know,
Lakers 2000.
Like if it was still a Great Western Forum, I see that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
33, 32, absolutely. 24, 8, 44 somewhere else.
Absolutely.
You know? But for Staples Center, it's just like at least the KB.
Sometimes I don't know. Maybe it's just the not just the Laker, but the sport fan in me that makes me like, let's take it easy a little bit. I think that's all it is.
I think because you understand your rational mind, it's like let's get through the process first.
I don't know how to explain.
Because all these suggestions are coming up within a week. Like this is all happening within a week.
Maybe sometimes like I've thought about it. Even that day of, I'm like, you know, at the end of the day, I was like, before this, I wasn't thinking about Kobe Bryant, but now I am. You know what I mean? So what's the difference? Why didn't they do that when he was alive? Get what I'm saying? Like, why change it now? Oh, but I get it. It's here. We got to remember him.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Put those things out there, and he deserves it.
But you're kind of thinking like, what's the right way to remember him?
Yes. Yeah. But I don't know. The numbers.
We're gonna do something. We'll see.
Let's see. Let's see what's gonna happen.
This is the youngest. They said before him, I guess the youngest basketball player to pass was like 61 years old or something like that.
Man.
And it's like 61. You could kind of go, okay, like health problem, something catches up with you. But it's just like crazy, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
See all these football players going like that. But I'm starting to. I have nothing will top football as a sport for me. But seeing how basketball players are personality-wise versus football, like I have a lot more respect for the personalities, the types of characters that are in basketball versus the type of character you'll find in most football teams. Like just that. I don't know what it is about football players always getting in trouble and feeling privileged to like do whatever they want, man.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. It's like they take things for granted, and it's just expect not to get in trouble and stuff like that. It's just it's weird.
You always hear about football players now. How you doing with time? Yeah, if you gotta cut off, man, just tell us. Man.
I think my buddy's gonna pick me up like 9:30. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Well, how about this?
I didn't want to say about
we're not that professional. Bro.
We promise we will get him back on the show.
Indeed.
And we will definitely discuss some other topics more about work and stuff like that. And we go back to memories and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, for
But
sure.
it was a pleasure.
Man,
Great stories, man. I liked it.
I could talk about this. Hey, I could talk about this all night.
Yeah,
Man.
thanks for coming through.
And
Love to let
please,
me know. We'll do it again.
yes,
sure.
definitely,
Yeah.
really soon. Please, if you're watching, like and subscribe. Leave some comments, so we can get some more
Input.
input, so we can get you things that you want on the show and whatnot. So, anyways, great show.
Good job, bro.
Peace, brother.
All right.
And we'll see you soon.